Bonsoir les adorables, mes adorables amis. This is Llyane Stanfield, and you can find me at parisianfrench.com. Tonight I'm going to talk about how to make a request in French. And it can be a little tricky, especially if you don't quite know this tense. And yeah, I'll explain. And of course, how you can do this when you go to Paris. Why am I saying this? Is because one second. Why am I saying this? Is because I would like to convince you that making conversation from day one is what will get you faster, comfortable to travel to friends and to make friends and to make the connections that you're dreaming to make. And a lot of you are waiting to reach a certain level of knowledge of the language, which makes you more and more nervous to start making conversation. So my goal is to convince you to start conversation with the very basic vocabulary and verb conjugation, and do that while you enrich your vocabulary and grammar, but make conversation from day one. This is why I'm here to make these videos, to give you sentences that you can just run with them, and become comfortable to speaking French, to making these kind of sentences. So if you don't know me, my name is Llyane Stanfield, and I work with you, the successful professional and business person who is wrestling to learning French on your own. And I help you to instead speak French confidently in your travels and in your business, and to finally enjoy the art of being bilingual. So let's start. How do we make a request? The tense, because you will probably want to look in books to find that tense that I'm talking about right now. So the tense is actually le mode impératif, the imperative mode, and this mode is the form of the verb that we use in order to make a request. So in English we will say, for instance, eat, eat, and let's eat. So eat for one person when we talk to one person, eat when we talk to more people, and let's eat when we talk to us, a group, which we, the speaker, are part of. So in French, for instance, to eat would be mange when I talk to one person, mangeons when it's for us, the group that I lead, I guess, I talk up for, and manger for more people, or of course this second person plural, vous, is borrowed for a more formal form of speech. So when I speak to someone in a polite way, this is the form that I'm going to use also, right? So manger. Now, what I want to say, the transcript of this video is going to be again in the conversation group, and I know the link, so it's facebook.com/groups/J'Ouellette, Jouellette, but I'm going to put the link under this video as soon as I finish. So for so what I want to tell you that to remember is when you write, The second person singular, usually most of the verbs end the verb at the second person singular with an S. So it would be je mange, it ends in an E. Tu manges ends in an S. Now, if I make a request, so in the imperative mode, that S is dropped from the second person singular. So I'm giving you this explanation because I'm going to give you this example that I'm going to write. I'll explain here, of course, but it's going to be written inside the group. So if I say, for instance, Pierre mange la pomme. Pierre eats the apple. This is obvious in English. I say eats means I talk about Pierre. So the third person singular ends in an E. So Pierre mange with ends in an E. La pomme. But if I make the request, if I give an order, make a request to Pierre to eat the apple, I'm going to write exactly the same way. I'm going to say Pierre mange la pomme. And mange will be written with an E at the end because, as per the rule that I told you at the beginning, in the second person singular, the verb loses that S at the end. So how do we differentiate if we have a book and we read Pierre mange la pomme and it's written exactly the same or the same words and everything is the same? You can't quite tell whether I'm talking about Pierre or to Pierre. So with the shortcuts of the punctuation that happens right now, especially online, I want to give you some help for writing and communicating online as well. Commas are lost, right? Pretty much. Exclamation marks are overused. So I want to caution you, and when you write at least, make sure that at least you put that comma, because Pierre is not necessary. It's a word that is just an explanation. It gives some additional information. We really don't need that when I make a request of Pierre. Now, so if I look at Pierre and I say mange la pomme, it's enough. If I say Pierre mange la pomme, either I have a number of children in front of me or people in front of me and I single out Pierre, or I just want to say his name. Be careful in writing, it can be very tricky, so you may not realize, unless you know the whole context, if Pierre is the person who I'm talking to or I'm talking about. So this is it for today. I think it's a little interesting trick to know about the imperative mode, and it is an important mode to know about verbs. And yeah, just imagine you are in Paris and you have your luxurious trip and you go to a store and you have to make a request of someone to do something for you. Make sure that your intonation tells if you're talking to that person or about a person, okay? So this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Merci beaucoup, and I will see you next time. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt. Au revoir.